Hello, welcome to the Idea Coach Network. I am Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. I'm so glad that you're here joining us today. You are going to sit down and chill out with us as we do a live taping of the Pat Miller Show. What the heck is the Pat Miller Show? It's a radio show, and we're starting it right here on social media. But my vision is to do this show nationwide and help thousands of small business owners, and I need your help. The way that we do it is we bring small business owners on and we talk about ways to grow, fix, and celebrate their business. I do it just like a radio show because, hello, radio guy, that's what I do. And you get to listen in and join in the comments if you have some ideas for the guests on the show, or you can follow up with them on their social media, direct message them, all that kind of good stuff. Most of all, I'd love to have you be on the show someday, so hit patmillershow.com and we'll do the thing. So with all of that said, it's time to do the show. So you might be watching us, but we're taping this like a radio show. So ready, set, go.
One, two, three. Here we go.
Broadcasting from the small business capital of America.
This is WIIFM Milwaukee.
An Idea Coach station.
Uniting the states of small business for the nation's largest mastermind. This is the Pat Miller Show, where we help small businesses, solopreneurs, and side hustlers one by one, live without a net. I'm your host, Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. Thanks for joining us today. Now, small business is lonely and hard. We know that. And together, we are here to grow, fix, and celebrate your small business. When you listen in and join the show, you're being backed by the Idea Collective for Small Business Owners. We are here to join you on your small business journey. It's your dream. Don't grow it alone. Speaking of, you're a part of the show by playing along when you listen. So listen into the questions from today's guests. And if you think of something that I miss, quite likely, feel free to reach out to them and share your thoughts and ideas. And if you want to be on the show, of course, and hear the playback, that's all in one handy dandy location, patmillershow.com. We would love to feature you on the program. So with that, sit back, relax, grab a beverage of your choice. Today it's a Diet Pepsi from my friends at Mission Barbecue. Delightful lunch on my mom's birthday today. It's good times. So with that, I'm in a good mood and it's ready to make a difference. So let's welcome up our first guest on the show today. Diana, you're first out of the chute, my friend. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Hi, Pat. Thanks for having me on the show today. I'm Diana Schmidt. I'm the Vice President of the Board of Directors for Blessings in a Backpack.
Now, that's cool. Tell us, first of all, before we get into the good stuff, tell us about what Blessings in a Backpack does, because that's a charity, right?
It is. It's a nonprofit. It's a local Waukesha County chapter. And what the mission is that we help mobilize the community and resources and individuals to help provide food for kids over the weekend in Waukesha County who might otherwise go hungry.
Okay. It's a great cause. So we really want to make sure we nail this. So tell us how we can help you today.
Sure. So COVID-19 hit pretty hard, the mission, and we are looking for ways to diversify our fundraising. We created a new opportunity this year, the Bolt for Blessings 4K Challenge, which is a virtual race. And we are just looking to spread the word and find ways to get people engaged in this event to register and to support it.
Okay. So you're looking to get more people to register? Are you looking to raise more money? What's the exact, I know the answer is probably yes, but
Sure.
Which one do you want to dig into today?
We're looking for people mostly to register. We have these amazing race t-shirts we want to give people so that they can wear the shirt, promote Blessings in a Backpack of Waukesha County, and hopefully help continue to grow our base of supporters and volunteers. So that's our first goal.
Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind is you're playing with 4K. Now there's a reason behind the number 4 and not a 5K. Can you share what that is?
Sure. So yes, most people are familiar with 5K races. We are doing a 4K because it roughly costs us $4 to feed one child over the weekend. So we wanted to just kind of reinforce that branding and that thought process of, it's roughly the cost of a cup of Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, I love that. And it really keeps on the mission of why the $4 matters. And that's kind of where I'm going to go with the initial feedback that I thought here is staying on the number 4. There's another popular group activity that's four, and that's a foursome at a golf course. Can you try and get people who are already registered to make a 4-pack of members or a foursome on their own little team? So let's say that Susie, one of our folks in the community here, was already registered. You're reaching back out to them saying the 4K is better when they are done in fours. So who else can you add to your team? And then end up having like some sort of benefit if they have a team of 4 people. But staying on the number 4 sure seems to be the way to go. So if someone were to upgrade from maybe 1 or 2 people on their team to a foursome, do you have any cookies that you can hand out? Like not literally, but like little things you could give them if something good happens?
Right. There, yeah, definitely. We could find something to give them if that happens. That's a great idea.
And it could be a new sponsorship, right? So I'm sure there might be a golf course in the area that would give you a round of golf for 4 people if they could upgrade to 4 people inside their 4K running unit. As a matter of fact, I'm sure that if you said to them, here's what I want, a round of 4 with no golf cart, and it's only good Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Local golf courses will give that up all day to get people on the course. And maybe that's something you could say, thanks to the support of new sponsor, which never hurts either.
Right.
Here's a way that you can upgrade and get more people to run. Because the reason why I asked about, do you want more registrations or you want more money? Like they kind of both do the same thing. And sometimes a new sponsorship is a lot more direct to getting what you need than to going to get more people to actually run in the race. You know what I mean?
Correct. Right. Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
So just so I'm curious, how far is the delta between where you want to be and where you are right now? Like, are we $10,000 off where you need to be? Or are we like $50,000 off where you need to be?
No, we're within a few $1,000s of where we want to be.
Okay.
So we've gotten a good response so far, but we just want this first inaugural event to be a huge success so that people want to come back and do it again.
Yeah. And I think it's a really clever idea, and it's something you could definitely play with. I would reach out to local golf courses because I think that could be a very direct path to make it happen. And they're very used to being hit up for those kinds of rounds of golf to be given out. And this is a good thing to have on this show because the Idea Collective community might be thinking, oh, I know someone that can partner. So this is what the show is designed to do. We want to get the entire community thinking how we can help this really great cause and connect with Diana because they're doing great things here around the home base and really helping kids over a tough weekend when they don't have food security. So Diana, thank you for what you're doing. Hopefully the idea that we came up with today will be something that can help you. And I want you to call back after you crush your fundraising goal and we can do one of those small business celebrations and we can enjoy it here on the show. Diana, great to see you. Thanks for coming on. This is the Pat Miller Show. We are growing, fixing, and celebrating small business. We have a fun celebration coming up with someone who came on a show of mine earlier this week and scared the hell out of us, like quite literally scared the hell out of us. We'll have that here in just a few moments. Also, we'll hear from Terry and Talmar. But after Diana, it only makes sense to go back and talk to a Diane, right? It's like an alphabetical order kind of show, right? So let's welcome to the show today, Diane Kipper. Diane, it's great to see you. For the benefit of everybody, tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Thanks so much for having me, Pat. It's great to see you. So I own a company called Half That Makes Me Whole. And this has been a passion of mine for many, many years now. And I finally just decided to go for it. It's a clothing line, an e-commerce clothing line where nothing is shorter than a half a sleeve. And it has nothing to do with body shaming or body image or anything like that. It's just a fact that some women just don't like to have their arms exposed. And when you get into some of these clothing, some of these styles that do cover your arms, oftentimes they're frumpy or they look like they're somebody, for the age of like 17 to 23. So I'm looking for something that's really fashionable and fun and quality fabrics that make women feel confident and make them feel whole, which is nothing shorter than a half a sleeve that makes you whole.
I love the name.
Thanks.
And I love the vision of putting clothes on that make you feel confident. It's one of those things that you hear people talk about all the time is when you feel like you look good, then you feel good.
That's
right?
the thing. And that's why I really stress that this isn't a body shaming thing. This is actually about building confidence and making women feel empowered by, putting on something that they just feel fantastic in, and they can go out and take on the world.
Okay. So what drives this? Because I'm sure there's a backstory to this. You don't just roll out of bed one day and say, I'm going to do this type of clothing. Like, what is the story behind why this is important to you or what it does for your clients?
Absolutely. So I have spent years in retail management, and I had literally every day women would come into my store and say, I don't want my arms exposed, but everything that you have just looks like an old lady should be putting it on or a teeny bopper should be wearing it. And it just became this common theme. And so I had actually looked into funding a different business, actually was going to be the recipient of some of the proceeds from Half That Makes Me Whole. And that was the company I ended up building first, which is Rise. And Rise is Restoring Inner Strength and Energies, which is retreats for women who have been sexually assaulted or in a domestic violence situation or have been through divorce. So my goal is to build Half That Makes Me Whole, have proceeds from that business fund Rise.
So I wonder if the first thing that came to mind to me is it's not too long, it's not too short, it's just right.
Correct.
And I wonder if you could play with something like, when you shop with us, it's just right for Rise.
I love that.
So you're saying, like, listen, because it's tough to describe what you're doing. I like what you say with Half That Makes Me Whole, because that gets them down the line of it's more than just clothing.
Right.
But you need to tie in your mission to really help yourself stand out.
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect, Pat. In fact, I'm right now I'm looking for either, philanthropists or angel investors, or just somebody who might have a lot of experience in building a company to kind of throw these ideas, past, and to see if somebody would be willing to help me fund it.
Okay. So what does that look like success-wise? Is this a 7-figure startup, a 6-figure startup? You just need a couple $1,000 to get you going? What are you looking for? And I'm not trying to be nosy, but
Not at all.
Investors come in all different shapes and sizes,
Correct. Yeah, I would probably need about 50,000 to support some designers and some merchandising, and getting the branding completed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. Are you familiar? There's a group, at least in this area, called WIBIC, which is designed to help people find funding in situations just like this. Have you heard of WIBIC before?
I actually am working with WIBIC. Yes.
Oh, then
Yep.
you're way ahead of me. What do you need me for? You don't need me, Diane. Come on now. You've already got a killer name. You got a great thing going. You got all this stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm working with WIBIC right now. They've turned me on to a couple of different programs that I'm working with right now.
Mhm.
Nothing has come to fruition quite yet, so I'm just exploring every avenue I can right now to try to get this going as quickly as possible.
Well, I think it's beautiful. The other thing that I'll say before we sign off here with you, Diane, is that I could also see a crowdsourcing option to help make this happen, because when you
Yes.
think of the stories that make up the business that you're running or wanting to launch, you're empowering designers, super important. You're
Yes.
addressing a very important issue that people need to have addressed, and you're designing and distributing a unique piece of clothing that ties it all together. So I could see you doing a crowdsource campaign to get you that initial 50 grand, because 50 grand, it's a lot, but it's not really a lot. You don't need $500,000 to make a factory.
Right. Exactly. This is not a brick and mortar. This is just an e-commerce. So I'm not going to have a ton of overhead. I just need to pay my designers, and I need
Mhm.
to pay to have the products made and distributed.
All right, so let's think big for a second. I want you to tell me what success looks like. You call me back in a year and you're just killing it and everything is wonderful. Where does this go? What is your vision for this?
My vision is to empower as many women as possible, and that's going to be, through not only through what they wear, but also coming out on the other side of trauma.
Mhm.
And women deserve to feel comfortable in their skin, both figuratively and literally. So my whole idea of success is empowering women to be the best that they can be and to
I
feel the best that they can.
I absolutely love that. I wish you all the best on this project. And what's cool about it is people that aren't affiliated personally with what you're going for can still wear the brand and know that they're making a difference. So if
Yes.
you're not just being kind and saying you like Just Right for Rise, I think that could tie together the unique sleeve length, the cause that you're going for, and it could be a battle cry for everyone that buys the brand. And I fully expect you, Diane, to call me back in a year and tell me how you've conquered the world, because that is like the coolest thing. And I wish you all the best. Now, if you are an investor or you've got an idea for Diane, let's get behind her here, drop into the chat, reach out to her on social media and let her know how you can empower her on her mission. All right, so let's keep these good vibes going, right? It's time for a small business celebration. These are some of the best parts of the show. Our good friend Garrett Stein is on the show. Garrett, it's great to see you, my friend. Tell everybody who you are and what you do, and then we're dying to hear about your small business celebration.
Sure. My name is Garrett. I run multiple small businesses out of the Brookfield area, all related to technology. So we do IT services, we do dark web scary stuff. We have a bunch of SaaS tools, and my celebration is we ran a multi-day event last week for a member of the Idea Collective, and it frickin' rocked. It was I was showing off a tool to Jennifer. She said, go talk to Taryn. Taryn said, oh my gosh, this looks great for our event in 3 months. And we pulled it off. We had 50 some people attending a 3-day event, and we are booked for next year where we're anticipating at least 500.
Wow. Okay, so let's just stop right there. So is this the first time you would use this software, the first time you'd use the software with these people?
This is the first time I have used this software and got paid for it.
Holy cow. So like you put yourself out there not sure how it would go, and not only did it go well, you got rebooked for more.
Correct.
Man, that's amazing. So we need to know about this software, man. Come on, toot your horn a little bit. Tell us about it.
Sure, it's the AirMeet platform. It is a semi-competitor to Zoom-ish or so, but more for events, stages, conference rooms, multiple tables. And the really awesome part was the vendor booths. We had some really great statistics of who visited each vendor booth, what they clicked on, and it really was nice for any of the vendors who helped sponsor this event. So great statistics to give back to the people giving Taryn money.
Man, that's incredible. And congratulations to her for launching the program and to you for finding a software solution. And it's great. You say the program is called AirMeet, MEET, correct?
AirMeet, yep.
Yeah, and it's tough because there are so many virtual platforms out there now. It's really hard sometimes to know which one is the one I should go with. So full vote of confidence from Garrett for AirMeet. We want to put your contact information in the chat in case someone else is facing a challenge of hosting an online event. But congratulations to you and to Taryn and for using the software. I just love hearing that stuff. When you do something for the first time and it comes out great, and then you get rebooked, that's like winner virtual platform dinner right there, which is just incredible. So congratulations, Garrett. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And that's something we started doing here on the Pat Miller Show is we want to grow, fix, and celebrate small business. Because if it was just, help me solve my problems, there's a place for that. But the thing about the small business journey is that it has great days and terrible days. And if you can't turn to someone and just shout from the rooftops how awesome something was, you're missing something. So hopefully on this show, this can be a place where we can celebrate each other's wins and be happy. And I'm happy for Garrett. Good for him. All right, we've got 2 more folks on the show today. Let's welcome in Terry is up next. Terry, great to see you, my friend. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Hi, my name is Terry Kerr. I am an executive coach and empowerment strategist with the Unstuck Duck Coaching. I'm coming to you from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. And today I wanted to mine is kind of part celebration, part where do I go from here?
Okay.
So last week I did my first ever, it was an FFT for me. If you're not familiar with what that is, from Brene Brown, you can Google it.
Well, you got to tell us. Come on, what's an
Well,
FFT?
it's an effing first time. So when you learn all the things. So anyway, I learned a lot. I did my first ever challenge, and it was a Facebook challenge, and I got a ton of data. I got a ton of data from it. It was really great. And what I had a lot of people register, and now it's just converting them into paid clients. And I'm not sure what the best step is to go there, because I feel like yesterday I had this crash, like I had this, hangover from how awesome it was as a week. But what I want is now to convert them into some paying clients. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if you have any magic that you can.
Well, magic. That's kind of a tall order. Magic. Do you have any magic for me? Well, before we get to the problem solving, let's go back to the celebration just for a second. So this was a significant thing that you did the challenge, and did your registrations meet your goals? Like, did you do well with the number of registrations?
Yeah. I really wanted to get 50 people in the room, and I had 53 people registered.
Yes.
So that was awesome.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was awesome. And now I'm kicking myself for not making it a paid challenge.
Okay.
Because it was free, but that's okay. I've got some great leads and connections, and I have had one referral so far come from it. So there's a win. I didn't have as many people show up as I was hoping, like physically, like showing up to do it, which happens in a virtual world, I suppose. But overall, I wanted to test out a lot of things. One was I was sitting in a place of scarcity, feeling like I didn't have enough content. And I learned that I have a lot of content.
Well, that's good. So let's look pragmatically at what happened.
Okay.
We are in a very, very, very busy world, right? And those 51, thank you very much. 51? I don't want to sell you short. 51 people? 53. See, those 53 people, thank you very much. They could have played Super Mario Brothers or watched some TV show or done literally anything else but sign up for your thing. And they saw value in you and what you were going to talk about, which means they raised their hands to say, Terry, please notice me. Please, will you be my friend, Terry? And on your end, you're looking at it as, these people want to be my clients. I must convert them. Well, the conversion already started. They already raised their hand to say, I like you and what you're doing. The challenge now, I don't think, is a binary client conversion or not client conversion. The challenge is, how do you build a relationship so that way you're getting them closer and closer and closer to a conversion? Because it is very event-based thinking to think, I did a thing, how many people booked? Rather than, I did a thing, and how do I nurture these folks into stronger relationships so that they do book? So I would ask then, okay, how are you doing? I don't even want to call it follow-up. I want to call it more relationship building. How are you reaching back out to them and making them know that you appreciate them raising their hand and you want to be their friend?
Well, and I think that's a good point, because when in my previous life, I was a fundraiser. So I was kind of smiling at your comments to Diane earlier. We used to hold an event, and it was all metrics. It was like, okay, so how many people attended? How many people showed up engaged? How many people? So it was an engagement, attendance, and how much people donated. Yeah. And I always, as a fundraiser, it was a win for me if people showed up, if people attended, because yes, that means they care, right? Mm-hmm. And I hadn't really thought about making it for the same thing now that I'm an entrepreneur, really, having those metrics. Mm-hmm. I mean, part of it is I want, the money to come in, as most entrepreneurs would. Yeah. Right. And I also don't really know, like, when I'm sending an email out, like, I feel like it's just so impersonal. So I don't know. I'm just kind of in a strange space of, what do I do next?
So here's where my head is right now. And I feel like at times as we have this conversation, I'm kind of talking to myself at the same time. So permission to just kind of share what's on my mind here
Okay.
is that the wonderful thing about the world that we live in is that we can have a one-to-many conversation. The terrible thing about the world that we live in is that we oftentimes only have one-to-many conversations, and we're not doing hand-to-hand relationship building. Whereas you've only got 53 people that raise their hands. You can talk to every one of them, either by phone or by message or by text. And instead of having that pressure of how many converted from the event, instead give yourself some grace on the deadline and say, you know what, in the next 6 weeks, I'm going to convert them. And between now and the next 6 weeks, here's how I'm going to look at the conversion of how I'm going to take them from they raised their hand to we're pals and now they want to be my friend forever. So like I would challenge you to think about a strategy of talking with them one-on-one over the next time period of 4 to 6 weeks. So you don't have to like drown yourself in, did they convert right now? And then at the end of the day, here's the worst thing that happens. You have 53 more people that really know, like, and trust you. So next time you put something on sale, they might want you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
So
It's a longer game.
it's another
No.
game. Is that right?
It's a longer game.
Oh, it certainly is a longer
It's
game.
playing the longer game.
It is. It is. And it's playing a better game too, because let's say of those 53 people, none of them ever convert from this particular course. However, they might buy the next thing because you built a relationship with 4 or 6 of them, or they'll share with someone else that you're doing something that they need to be a part of. So it might not be a conversion from this exact course, but I would encourage you to think about, okay, what am I going to do to build a relationship with them so that the next time I have something, they're there for me? So I would do some brainstorming, and I think you could absolutely crush that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. So think about it, Terry, because the fortune is in the follow-up, but that phrase, it just seems so salesy. We got to come up with a different way to say that. The fortune's in the friendship, right? Something like that. That sounds just a little bit more personal, because at the end of the day, I happen to know Terry. She's a really nice person. I want to be her friend. And if I can also do business with her, that's a bonus. So Terry, thank you so much for coming on the show. I wish you a lot of luck. And it's one of those things that if I had the real answer of how to instantly get you to sell a bunch of stuff from a webinar, I'd be a trillionaire and I'd be in Las Vegas. As a matter of fact, I'd probably live in Las Vegas if I was a trillionaire, but sadly I don't. All right, so we've got time for one more person to come on the show today. And this is quite the big finish, because I love me some Talmar Anderson. Talmar, it's so great to see you, my friend. Tell everyone who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pat. I'm excited to be here. My name is Talmar Anderson. My company is The Boss Actions. We are a hiring strategy and boss best practices firm, which means we help business owners develop their own skills so they can build their own, am I allowed to say kick ass? Because I'm going to kick ass team.
Go for it.
Thank you. So, we've had some good couple of years. We have a on-demand group coaching program called Bossification. It's doing really well. And in our plan for, world domination, in a way that we all thrive with great teams, is workshops. And the universe is going that way. We're excited about that. It's a place that we always in Boss Actions wanted to be. And over the past 2 years, our program has developed to be a bigger, more encompassing content than originally intended when we first laid out our, 5-year goals, if you will. And so I'm trying to decide on how to best to segment or deliver on the workshop portion of what we would do, because it's something that we would start to build for delivering next year. So our options, the program itself addresses how to look inside your business and create organizational structure and create forecasting to a small degree. We make it very easy, just a starting point. And then we also teach how to the process of hiring and how to build that for your own company. Then we also teach how to really step into that manager or boss role for yourself and your company in a process, so that it's more structured and you don't feel so, like, I don't know what to do. And so it's bigger than it was when we first thought about workshops. So the question is, do I try to break the content down into stage 1 content bossification, stage 2 content bossification. So people could pick and choose which type of content they wanted more of. Ideally, it would be along the lines of hiring and management. But the other idea is to create a next level version, which would be to really flesh out and create the space for really truly writing your organizational structure and looking at it in a forecasting manner. And we could go through the actual number process of learning your own, what we call hiring triggers. And that's the forecasting of when can I afford to scale? And at what point is something triggered, right? You know, if we get these many projects, we have to hire this role. If we get these many projects, we have to hire this role. So we could turn that into a workshop. It's not as fleshed out in the on-demand program because there's a lot, that would be its own course, right? So I'm just not sure whether to create the in-person version of what we're doing already that's successful and, hitting and not a problem, or if I go to the next level to really give people that opportunity to feel like they're more in control of the whole future of it.
So that's a lot. So I got questions.
I didn't know
want
how
to
to
make
ask
sure.
it short.
No, I love it. I just want to make sure I understand it because if I heard you correctly, there's a ton of content that exists to help people in all the different stages of their bossism.
Yes.
Right. So the question is, as I hear it, there are two separate things.
Yeah.
One of them is, are you creating like a subscription path where people start with they don't know anything and they graduate to knowing everything and they take it on their own in a subscription path? And then the other version would be like a vending machine saying, oh, I would like this course. And that course comes out. Like, is that the kind of course structure you're talking about? Because the second part of it is the premium version of We Do It With You. And the premium version of writing your own ticket, like an independent studies kind of concept.
It is much more, the workshops would be much more of a premium We Do It With You situation.
Okay. So that's the top level. That's off. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It is just a matter of, do you want to do this version about hiring, this version, you would be entitled to both aspects, but you would choose when you were scheduling your workshop, which time to go to the management or to the hiring. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So what's the question then? If we take the independent studies or the premium version off the table, because that would be amazing to have you and your team help guide us through all of these challenges, then what is the part of the structure that is still a little bit up in the air? I just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah, so with regard to the delivering in person, us doing it with you over, a day or 3, depending on how we structure it, is it better to just take the version of the content that's available that they can learn on demand, or is it better to create an expanded version to let them level up in a different way and get the premium experience at the same time?
Okay, I got you now. Okay, so basically, if we do it in person, are we taking this series of courses, or are you letting them build and choose their own adventure kind of concept? Right, so they can build that premium experience with you with the courses that they think are right.
No, it's not. It will be the structure will be set. Sorry, I didn't follow that.
I got you. So
I don't think I did. I'm sorry. I got confused.
It's all good. Don't worry about it. So the structure, if we're in person, we're talking about an in-person experience.
Yes.
And then they could have their 2 different ways they could consume the content. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you're saying which way should we go? Version A, explain version A again.
Version A is the exact on-demand program, but in a live version.
Got it. And version B is
a enhanced, higher, next level version of a portion of the content that's about forecasting.
Okay. I like version B. And the reason why I like version B is they could always take version A by themselves if they wanted to.
Yeah. I feel
and
like
version
that too.
B not only gives them the premium experience of being with you and your team, it also gives them the chance to be upsold into higher products and next level off the rate card stuff.
Yeah.
Where you can say, you know what I think you need? I think you need a thing. And they go, ooh, I don't even know what that is. And you can say, well, we don't do it for very many clients, but it's $11 billion. And I think you would benefit from it.
11 billion. Spell 11 for me. No, I like, and I just really was struggling about whether I needed to create an in-person version of this thing that we've already got online, because there's a lot of clients that will upsell to the versions where they get the personalization, it's not in person. It's, usually through Zoom. So I was struggling about that, but that upsell is usually inclusive of what we would be doing for this up level workshop. Does that make sense? Like we go in and we help them with the organizational structure and understanding their forecasting and creating their hiring triggers. So it would be a way to be able to scale that beyond taking the one-on-one and the one-on-one and the one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the idea, if you're going to be in person, that they get the full Talmar and team experience, and then make it as custom and high end as possible. Because I do have the luxury of knowing, Talmar, with the way that you're growing, your time is becoming increasingly more valuable. So you're going to have to continue to drive rate. Just because people want you is not going to be a good enough excuse anymore. People are going to need to want you and be willing to pay a premium, because you're too busy solving the world's problems to just help anybody that's got a credit card. So I would encourage you to drive rate on the top package and be ambitious about it, which of all the people on the planet, I'm not worried about Talmar and her ambition. But I appreciate the call, and thanks for going over it with me. Sometimes I need that extra explanation to kind of understand what the heck you're talking about. But it sounds exciting. And Talmar, thanks for coming on. So there you go. That's this edition of the Pat Miller Show. So thank you for joining us. By my count, we helped 4 different business owners today, and we heard a killer small business celebration from our friend Garrett. Hopefully something we talked about today kind of resonated with you as well. Or if there's someone on the show and you're like, oh, I've got a great idea for them, their contact information is in the chat. And when we post the podcast, we will link to their websites as well. Now, this vibe, this feel of talking about small business, this idea that people are here for you and we're walking with you on your small business journey. If you want to feel that every day, you might want to think about the Idea Collective collaboration community. It starts on Facebook. It's a free group called the Idea Collective. Then there's a premium community as well, where we are working together. It's kind of like your own personal board of directors, because remember, running your own small business can be lonely and hard. Don't grow it alone. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. I'm so glad you stopped in and you were a part of the show today. If you want to be on the show, hit up patmillershow.com. That's also where you can find the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.